We now want to bring in our Dr. Brian Calfano to explain what this process will be like and what exactly comes next. Dr. Brian Calfano, thank you so much for being here.
Good to see you, Jen.
So I want to start with the impeachment part of it. This is an official impeachment inquiry. It doesn't mean, obviously, that the president will be impeached tomorrow. What is the process like right now after this announcement?
Well, the first thing that has to happen is Speaker Pelosi needs to determine whether or not there will be a select committee arranged to consider articles of impeachment against the president, or whether the Judiciary Committee under Representative Nadler from New York, which has been hearing all kinds of evidence about the administration and about Trump campaign and these sorts of things over the last several months, will end up taking the lead on any kind of article consideration. I think really if Pelosi is smart, she will appoint a select committee and have a sort of fresh set of hearings. I think she wants to slow walk this as much as possible, because really the president is at his best in many ways when he's combative and when he's pushed against the wall. And this gives him that opportunity. Just the idea of being impeached or potentially being impeached gives him a chance to lash out at critics and to do all the sorts of things that we've seen him do over the last few years. So in some ways, this is the kind of fight that he wants. And it's the sort of fight I think Pelosi wants to steer clear of as much as she possibly can. And that would suggest appointing a new set of folks to look at these articles of impeachment with fresh eyes. And once those articles are voted on, if a committee were to decide by a majority vote that there's enough evidence there to support the articles of impeachment going to the entire House, the floor of the House, for an up or down vote, that's what would happen at that point. You'd have a vote on the articles of impeachment for the president.
Now, the president is in New York for the UN, and he already tweeted responding to the announcement shortly after. Not surprisingly, took to Twitter with his response, and he called this a witch hunt, garbage, and presidential harassment. What do you think this means for the 2020 presidential election, not just for President Trump, but also for the Democratic candidates?
Yeah, well, it gives Trump the chance to frame the election the way he wants it, which is that, he's fighting for the country, he's fighting for people who have been forgotten, and the Democrats are trying to stop him at every chance they get. The Democratic candidates can play this up as well by saying they're going to go back to the White House and take over and get rid of corruption and all the sorts of things that they associate with President Trump. So in some ways, politically, this is good for both sides. It's not good for the country, though, and it's not good for faith in the institutions that people should have, and in the sense that they trust the federal government to do what it's supposed to do. But, getting down to the question of the president releasing the transcripts and the report from the Inspector General's office and all this sort of thing, the president says he didn't do anything wrong because he didn't pressure the Ukrainian president to do anything about Joe Biden's son. That's going to come down to a matter of interpretation, because anytime the president of the United States is on a call saying something to somebody else, whether it be a head of state or somebody working in the West Wing, there's implicit pressure with that. There's the sense that, you as the president are saying something for a reason. And so will Democrats be able to make enough hay out of that to say this is what deserves an impeachment vote and an affirmative vote to start the process to get rid of the president? We'll have to wait and see. But Pelosi is smart, at least in starting that process tonight.
All right. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Brian Calfano, for being here with us.
Thank you, Jen.